Today we're going to talk about how our understanding of nutrition has changed. The queen bee, which is twice as large as any of the worker bees, lives her life of luxury inside the beehive. She's fed by the other worker bees and she lives for 3 to 5 years, which is 10 times more than that of an average worker bee's lifespan. That's like living for 800 years if your peers die at the age of 80. Now, one could argue that the queen bee has won the genetic lottery card. She has the best genes. But here is where it gets really interesting. The queen bee shares the genes like any other worker bee. In fact, she is born like one of the worker bees. The only difference is what she eats. The queen bee is fed something called the royal jelly, which is the bee's equivalent to mother's milk. Now, while all the bees are fed the royal jelly when they are young, it's only the queen that continues to eat so in larger quantities as she grows older. And this one nutritional advantage not only allows her to live for 10 times longer, but also makes her the strongest in the lot. Now, if you all are wondering where do you find this royal jelly, it's poisonous for humans, so we can't eat it. But that is the power of nutrition. That's what I'm here to talk about. Let's take a minute to change lens and understand how our understanding of nutrition has evolved over time. Now, I can see the people in the front row, not so much in the back row, but raise your hands if your grandparents have ever told you one of these. Eat with your hands, don't use a spoon. Add ghee to, so many hands already. Add ghee to your food, carbs, it will help you with digestion. Then so many people. You feel a sore throat coming? Have garam adrak wali chai. Yeah, heard that from people? Yeah. My earliest memory with my own grandmom was when I used to visit her for summer holidays. My grandmom, who was a staunch follower of Jainism, would give my parents the side eye and this grumpy look every time they fed me post sunset. In her own way, followed by religion, she was following something called intermittent fasting. Now, who knew that would be the cool thing to do a few generations later? She did not read a book on nutrition, nor did she have an app which reminded her to fast. She simply relied on traditional wisdom, and that was enough for her. Now, before you get all nostalgic, let me also introduce you to technology. Raise your hands if you ever tried to desperately chat GPT your symptoms before going to a doctor in the hope of a diagnosis. Yeah, some people, okay. Or if you've got a blood test done to stay up to date with your health markers. Or if you own a health tracker, a step tracker, fitness tracker to optimize everything from your sleep to your stamina to your stress levels. Thanks to the advancement in the field of technology, I cannot even tell you the countless years we've added to our clients' lives because of early nutritional intervention. Thanks to the advancement in the field of nutrition, we have taken thousands of our clients off medication for diabetes, hypertension, cholesterol, all three of which, by the way, my grandmom struggled with and took medication for till the last day of her life. Had we known what we know today, with current nutritional research, maybe we could have given her a few more medicine-free, disease-free years. Now, that time was not bad. This time is not bad. The problem is when we want to continue living like it's 1924, but we live in 2024. For instance, take dairy consumption. Traditionally, cows were part of the family, and dairy farms were small scale. And because consumption of dairy was limited, people were able to keep up with the supply of dairy. They did not have fancy options like Maggi milkshake. Again, I had a picture for you. Or Oreo pakoras. Literally, Oreo pakoras, they make things like that. Consumption was very, very limited. But given our high consumption of dairy today, it is estimated that anywhere between 50 to 80% of all milk and milk products in the market are adulterated. Adulterated dairy, or what we sometimes refer to as synthetic dairy, is made with urea, ammonia, detergent, vegetable oil, and even soaps. It's not healthy for us anymore. How would you explain going into a restaurant and ordering a dish like Shahi Paneer for 150 to 170 rupees, when the cost of paneer itself is 250 rupees for half a kilo. Adulterated dairy is everywhere. But leave adulteration aside. Dairy milk consumption in infants compared to breast milk consumption increases their risk of type 1 diabetes, the one we often associate with genetics. Milk consumption in women is also associated with a higher risk for certain types of cancers. And this is because of excess sex hormones in dairy. But the sex hormones which are found in dairy is also a now generation problem. For instance, did you know there's a particular breed of cow called the Holstein breed which has been genetically bred to keep up with today's milk supply. Unlike all the other cows and even humans that can only give milk after the birth of a cow, the Holstein variety continues to give milk even while pregnant. And while this is beneficial to the farmers, the problem is obviously while the cow is pregnant, just like with human pregnancy, it's a hormonal havoc in the cow's body. Some sex hormones, particularly estrogen, can be as high as 30% above the baseline. And all of these sex hormones make its way into your cup of morning chai. So while Haldi Wala Doodh made sense 2 decades ago, right now, maybe we need to rethink dairy consumption. But let's take one more example. Let's leave dairy milk aside because people don't like it when I talk about dropping ice cream or dropping cheese. Let's talk about supplement. See how our understanding of supplement has changed. I grew up at a time when my sister and I would beg our parents for a few extra hours of playtime outdoor. My mom had to literally drag us in the house as the clock struck 6 o'clock and we would beg her, 5 more minutes, let us play out for some more time. Running barefoot, collecting stones for no obvious reasons, or eating without worrying about sanitizing our hands was the norm. In fact, my dad still credits his ironclad immunity to the fact that he grew up drinking railway station waters. But we live in a hyper-sanitized world now. We wash our hands multiple times in the day. We don't want to touch mud anymore. And rarely wash our fruits and vegetables are overly washed. We use so many water filters. And because of all of this, we are going away from nutrients which are naturally found in nature. And what are these nutrients? Some of them like vitamin B12 and D3. Did you know vitamin B12 is not made by animals or plants? So you can't really get it if you're eating animals or plants. It's made by microbes which live in the soil. And the more our exposure of soil is going down, B12 deficiencies are creeping in. And B12 and D3 deficiencies are associated with depression, lowered immunity, neuropathy, and even brittle bones. So while my dad never needed a supplement growing up, maybe we need to rethink supplement in today's time. Maybe in today's generation, given our today's lifespan, given our today's environmental exposure, supplements are necessary. Let's take one last example. I was sitting with my dad preparing for today's talk, and I asked him, what kind of food did you grow up eating? Somehow I wanted to see and somehow sort of even pacify myself that you had healthier food options than we don't have it now. Thus we are unhealthy. But to my surprise, we discovered something very different. My dad grew up eating things like jalebi, gathia, dhoklas, iplas, parathas, all of this when growing up. I'm Gujarati, it's pretty obvious from that. But the food options he grew up eating were not healthier than the food options we grew up eating now. If anything, my parents have access to me amongst the best nutritionists in the country, so we eat much healthier at home right now than he grew up eating. But my dad spoke nostalgically and he said, we used to walk a lot. It's not just my dad. Talk to any of your parents and they'll start raving about how much they used to walk and how little we walk now. We used to walk a lot, my dad said. I used to walk 12 kilometers just to go to the school and come back home. 12 kilometers of walking just to go to the school and come back home. And in comparison, every time I do 8,000 steps, which is less than 6 kilometers, my band gives me a thumbs up and celebrates that. 6 kilometers throughout the day. We used to also play cricket a lot, my dad said. We used to play for hours under the sun. And the last time I even lifted something that resembles a bat was, in one of those arcade game centers. You hit with that hammer and it gives you a score. I don't do that anymore. Our fitness today is limited to 1 hour of fitness in the gym. We spend an hour of fitness in the gym and sometimes walk. But besides that, our activity level is very, very limited. It would be foolish of me to say that the food choices that made sense back then still make sense now. I'm not here to say stop drinking dairy. I'm not here to convince you to start taking supplements without supervision or to stop eating parathas and ghee for breakfast. All I'm here is to tell you, are your food choices influenced, are your lifestyle choices influenced by people in your house who are your elders? And if they are, how much of it still makes sense in today's lens? Now sure, some things like intermittent fasting, meditation will never go out of fashion, and it shouldn't, all of us should practice it. But besides that, how much are you influenced by the past? And are you holding on to it so tight and not ready to let go? Maybe it's time to rethink. Maybe it's time to rethink some of our habits, some of our food choices. Thank you so much.